Profiles used for creating lofts should have a matching number of segments. That is, a 3-sided profile like this one will loft nicely to another 3-sided profile. Despite the differences in the shape of the individual segments, the loft feature does a nice job of generating smooth surfaces to join them. On the other hand, a 4-sided profile like this will not loft nicely to a 2-sided profile. Although SOLIDWORKS did succeed in generating a loft, a seam appears on one of the faces. SOLIDWORKS has taken this point and mapped it onto the other profile, but I didn't have much control over that process. Typically, you want to have more of a say in how your model ends up looking, so let's take a look at how you can take control over this situation. The first method is to break up your profiles so they do have the same number of segments. Let's edit this sketch and show you how this is done. When you're editing a sketch, you can right-click over any sketch entity and activate the Split Entities tool. When the tool is active, clicking on a sketch segment will split it. In this case, I have to break up the profile so that it has 4 sketch endpoints. This will provide a corresponding point for each of the 4 points in the other profile. Although these points don't have to be sharp vertexes, they must be endpoints of lines, arcs, splines, or other entities. They cannot be sketch points or center points. I'll click the arc in 2 places. I'll turn off the Split Entities tool by pressing Escape on my keyboard. As with any other sketch entities, I can use dimensions or geometric relations to define the exact location of these points. In this case, I won't worry about being too specific. I'll leave the points where they are. There you have one method of correcting a mismatched number of segments. I should mention that although I edited the sketch after the loft was already created, it would have been wise to fix it before creating the loft. Remember that where I click on a profile is important when creating a loft. If I don't click near corresponding points, the loft may become twisted, like it is now. This is why it would have been wise to break up the profile before creating the sketch. Of course, not all hope is lost. I can edit the existing loft feature, clear the selected profiles, and reselect them to avoid twisting. Now let's take a look at a different method of correcting a loft made up of profiles with mismatching segments. This time, it's important that the loft already be created in order for this method to work, so I'll create a loft using these segments as they are. Before clicking OK, I'll right-click in the Graphics window and select Show All Connectors. This reveals control points that tell me exactly how SOLIDWORKS will be mapping one profile to another. If I'm not happy with the way SOLIDWORKS has decided to do this, I can simply drag the points along the profile. While this method can be faster than the previous method, where we actually had to edit the sketch, it's not as precise. Notice that unless I snap the control points onto existing corners, I can't be precise with their location. I can't, for instance, specify that I want this point to be located exactly at the midpoint of this arc. One more thing before I click OK. If you wish to add control points, or connectors as they're called, all you have to do is right-click along one of the profiles and select Add Connector. This gives you a new pair of connectors that you can manipulate as you wish. I'll click OK and the loft is complete.